Hi, Kelly Eckold here to update you with the key events of the week. So the war in the Middle East continues as Donald Trump has countered Iran's closure of the strait with an embargo of his own. The upshot of that is that not much oil is coming out of the Middle East right now, and that's been the case now for 48 days or so. At the same time though, markets are really cheering the absence of actual fighting right now in the Middle East, and as a result equity markets are at the highs, even though global inventories of oil and gas products continue to run down to quite low levels, and refineries globally are increasingly having to fight hard to find actual barrels of oil to put through their refineries. The IMF presented us with some pretty bleak global economic forecasts this week and presented us one scenario which was consistent with global recession and 6% global inflation. Back here in New Zealand, we've had some data that suggests that at least coming into the war, the economy was on the improve. We saw data for March indicating that the jobs market was continuing to progress okay. The PMI indices only fell a bit. And also we saw house prices rise a little bit in March. We got some data for February as well showing that tourism inflows were actually really quite strong, especially led by big increases in Chinese visitors. And also migration data showed us that outflows of New Zealanders are declining, and also inflows of foreigners are picking up and are now running above pre-COVID levels. There's been a bit of a stoush in the domestic economist community about whether it could be reckless for the Reserve Bank to increase interest rates in July. My view on this is that if the Reserve Bank sees some signs of persistent inflation that justify an OCR increase, it would be reckless for them to not act on that. But my view is that the case for that OCR increase will be clear by September. I'll be back to update you again next week.